and welcome! Today we are taking a full look at the new 2023 repaint of the Magnum X2. As we see on the box, this dart zone blaster is claiming 90 feet and includes 40 darts. And this is a Target exclusive, so they are the chili darts. Let's jump right in and see what you get in the box. Included with the box is of course the dart zone Magnum X2 itself, the massive 40 dart drum, 40 dart zone chili darts, these are pretty awesome, and the instructions. First off, before you use the blaster, you will of course have to install the drum, but this is not going to be permanent, and I'll show you how to take it back out. So to install the drum, first off, you have to pull out this orange piece. I did already do that. Then what you're gonna do is line up the back orange piece and the front orange piece to the blaster, and simply push. And yeah, it's really that simple. It is now good to go. If you want to take the drum back out for a reload or just for storage, you simply take this switch, pull it forward, and the drum, with some pulling, should come right out. I really like this feature, not because I'm going to use it for a massive 40 dart reload, but because I really appreciate its more slim size when compared to how big it is with this drum for storage. Going over the blaster, you do not have any tactical rails of any kind on it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but definitely not a huge deal. And you do have one sling mount. It is located right here, and the super cool thing about this sling mount, just like the strong arm, is that you can put a strap through here and actually prime it off your shoulder. Definitely a really cool feature that could get easily overlooked. Up here we have this really nice angled foregrip. However, unfortunately, because the drum is just so huge, it does bump into your arm as you hold it. For me personally, I end up holding it something like this, so it's not the hugest deal to me, but for some people it may be. Right down here we have the stock, and it is adjustable. Now while this is a repaint of the Magnum X2, the Magnum X2 was kind of a reworking of the Dart Zone Magnum. The original Dart Zone Magnum had this bizarre armrest thing back here. It was not a stock and super annoying. Luckily, because this is an X2 version, this is not a weird armrest, but a really cool stock. It's pretty darn stable, fits an adult pretty well in the fully extended position, and has lots of adjustability. We have 7 different points of adjustability, which is more than we would typically see. Right here, of course, we have the grip and the trigger. Overall, a pretty comfortable setup. To fire the blaster, just like a strong arm, we're going to pull back on this handle and release. This is our priming indicator right there, and pull the trigger. This blaster does have slam fire. Definitely some pretty smooth firing performance. Before we go outside, I do want to say that the plastic quality is slightly subpar when compared to the other Dart Zone blasters like the Spectrum or Thunderbolt. At least that's what it feels like to me, but keep in mind, this is a $20 blaster and you're getting a lot for that price. Now let's take this thing outside, put it over the chronograph, and see how it performs. So here we are outside with the repainted Magnum X2. Loaded up, I have the included Dart Zone chili darts. 72, 74, 79, 77, 78, and 77. So for a $20 blaster especially, that performance is pretty satisfying for me. This is firing on par with most standard Nerf blasters. However, it is worth noting that this is a little bit uncharacteristic for a Dart Zone blaster. Typically, we would see over 80 with this kind of blaster. I thought that the Magnum could achieve over 80, so maybe it's just my model or these newer green ones. But either way, those are the numbers that I'm getting from my testing. Now let's fire some shots downrange. You get a lot of capacity. Pretty solid 70 FPS firing performance. Those chilies are pretty accurate darts. I really like them. And for a top prime Springer, 40 darts just feels like so much ammo. And it is a lot of ammo. In most games, you probably won't even have to reload. And if you do need to reload, you have plenty of open space to do so. Also, if the blaster is primed, every time you move the priming handle, the cylinder will rotate. So what are my final thoughts on the Dart Zone Magnum X2 2023 Green Edition? Overall, it's no surprise that this is basically the exact same blaster. Now my numbers might seem a tad bit lower than what the previous Magnums have hit, but it could just be this model, and it's certainly not enough to make me annoyed. As far as the blaster goes, this is an insane value for $20. The capacity is absolutely ludicrous, the performance is pretty good, and the blaster operates very smoothly. Overall, I don't think anyone would really be disappointed in buying this blaster. It's not perfect ergonomically, and the plastic quality, of course, could be better, but it also gives you adjustability depending on how you want to use it. So as you can probably tell, I really like the Dart Zone Magnum. However, as much as I really like this blaster, there is one other blaster that really competes with this thing and in a lot of areas actually surpasses it. And that blaster is the Dart Zone Villainator. The Villainator typically retails for about the same price, and unlike the Magnum X2, it is actually pump action. Not only that, but its cylinder is actually double rowed, so it ends up being smaller in circumference. Also, that blaster is set up more traditionally and has a removable stock. So that is basically the argument for the Villainator. Now, if anything, what does this have over the Villainator? Now, I think they are both great blasters, and while I typically do gravitate towards a pump action Springer as opposed to a top prime one, in my personal experience, I feel like the Magnum is the more consistent of the two, and I also feel that when slam firing, the Magnum allows you to go into this position, which I feel enables you to output a higher rate of fire with less effort. With the Villainator, when slam firing, you always have to worry about the rotating cylinder. I just wanted to throw that out there if you're debating between the two, but I think they are both really great blasters, and you couldn't go wrong with either one. If you are interested in the Magnum X2, I will have the Target link in my description. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the Magnum X2, subscribe for more, and happy blasting!